the fundamental knowledge, but degree level is more towards application. So you're going to fill up the template and so on. So I think yang itu you like master diploma. Right? We are going to look in terms of the concept of hassle, and then we are going to identify the first step. So first step is actually, if let's say during diploma you will learn about 7 principles. Okay, so that 7 principles is actually the basic thing about hassle. But here it is more towards that if you want to apply for hassle, what do you need to have? It's like if you own a company or a factory and you want to apply for hassle, so this is what we're going to do. Okay? So 5. This one we have 5 steps plus 7. So this one is the principle, the one that you learn. Okay? And then number 4 is to be able to develop hassle plan. Hassle plan is actually your assignment. If you still remember, for your practical 1 and 2, right? You actually fill out like a table of a specification. So that is actually part of hassle assignment. Okay? So you already have that knowledge. Okay? We can actually not really skip through. It's more towards that you already know what to put inside the table. So just later on go in terms of the principle. Okay? And hopefully by now you already decide what kinds of product you want to do. Okay? Right. So that one would be the objective of the hassle. Whenever you talk about hassle, okay, please correct that. That one is a program. Okay. So program PRP. They call it as the PRP. What does it mean by PRP? Is more towards like the things that you need to have. So we already learned about GMP before. So under hassle, again we have PRP. So PRP is a prerequisite program which comes from GMP, okay, and GHP and COP. Okay. So GMP apa benda? Good manufacturing practices. We learned about 5 sampai. So that one is considered as a PRP. GHP is what? Good hygiene practices. Okay. COP is what? COP. Mana dengan COP? COP apa? COP.
Operation practice.
COP.
Critical operation.
Code of practice, yeah. So code of practice is if let's say we want to export our tiger prawn. So we need to refer to a COP. Okay, code of practice. So code of practice is considered as a PRP, one of the PRP. Right. Whenever we talk about PRP, we know that everything is all in place. So we'll just continue with hassle. So usually what happens is it's easier if you have the GHP and then you have a GMP and then we have a hassle. Okay? So from here you can come up with the ISO 22000. Right, this one is more towards food safety. Okay? So this is considered as a, and then you have this this is the PRP. Yeah. Okay. And ini summary. This one is, if let's say just want to look at the hazard cert. Okay. We need to apply for a single product. If let's say you have 10 products in one factory, so you need to apply for each of the product. Just like different product will have like a different production line. So you need to have like a different flow chart, different analysis, several principles, you need to have like different preventive measure only for first 5 steps. So first 5 steps, later on we look at it, is more towards the common one. So we'll just use a similar first 5 steps, and then you continue with the 7 principles. Okay? Like example here, prima agri products that they apply for meat, burger, chicken, and chicken sausage. So different product will have like a different hazard manual. Hazard manual usually more like this thing for one product. Okay? Sebab apa dia tepat? Because we know that commonly, if let's say you talk about like process flow from receiving up until distribution, okay? Probably you assume that you only have like 10 process. Alah, 10 process tadi kan, but actually it can go up until 60. Okay? For each of the ingredients, you need to place individually. So in the process diagram, you need to have like an individual weighing process for each of the ingredients. Okay? So that's why we can achieve up until 60 steps. Alright. So now, let's test your memory. Let's test your memory. Do you still remember principle 1 until 7? Yeah lah. No. Ingat ke tak ingat? Apa aja? Apa aja? Masa di rumah, ni ada full control kan? Macam siapa? Cakap balik. Tak ingat?
Ada Syah.
Ada apa Ibu? Ingat tak? Berapa? Ada 3 je kat situ. Sesyarimi kan? Salah. Tapi dia bagi tahu kali kat cek video. Okay. Right. This one the concept. If you remember that 7 principle, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Number one is what? Pakai letter saja initial. Conduct hazard analysis. Number 2? Identify CCP. Number 3? Establish the critical limit. Okay. Establish critical limit. Number 4? Establish monitoring. Number 5? Establish corrective action. Number 6? Effective record verification procedure. Number 7? Documentation. Number 6 documentation or number 7 documentation. Verification. Verification, right? Verification 6. Number 6. Record keeping kat mana nombor 7? Tapi dalam slide doktor 6 record keeping, 7 verification. 1. Okay? Verification and record keeping. Right. So if you look here, whenever you talk about concept, it's actually wrap up the whole 7 principles. If you read through this one, okay, you already memorized by referring the notes. Okay. Number 1 is the conduct hazard analysis. I think if let's say in 652, 652 kan, psikologi belajar tak? Assembly kan? Siapa yang ajar tu? Memang. Okay, conduct hazard analysis where you have 3. It's actually 4, but the common one is 3 kan? Apa? Physical, chemical and microbiological. The other one is you have a radioactive. Okay? This is more towards that conductive hazard analysis. When you conduct hazard analysis, we have 2. One is the raw material, the other one is the process. So it's let's say you have like 30 different ingredients that you use to make the product, you have to conduct for each of the ingredients. Okay, for this one. And if let's say you have this one, another 30 steps that involve in producing the product, you need to conduct all 30 steps. Okay, 30 process. Right. And then the second one is we identify the critical control point. What is critical control point? Ni ada tak? Critical control point tu apa?
Proses
Critical control point, apa benda?
proses to kill
Proses apa?
destroy micro.
Proses yang apa?
Eliminate hazard.
Probably contain hazard.
Eliminate.
And then CCP, critical control point. Example?
Free frying.
Cooking, anything related with the temperature, time, hazard, okay, metal detecting. So under CCP as well. And then we have the established critical limit. So critical limit reflect to the critical point. So that one is more parameters. If you look at the first one, this is more towards number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay. So based on a systematic approach, why we call systematic approach? Because we have the asset plan, all the template, all the probably I show you the principle 1 to 7. You are not going to do like assignment kan, macam kalau kita buat asset plan is more towards that you fill up the table that already prepared for you. That one is more effective because we can actually compare for each of the process. Okay, and then systematic approach where we have like 5 plus 7, and then identifications of assessment. So if you underline this one, identification and assessment of risk and the control of the biological, chemical, physical hazard, this one reflect to which principle? In statement A, reflect to which principle? Number 1. Okay, so this one is a conducting hazard analysis for this one. So this is number 1. Okay, and then associate with a particular food production process. So where else? If we talk about that, we know whenever we have the physical hazard, chemical hazard, or biological hazard, we need to have like a preventive measures on how to overcome or eliminate this hazard in our product. So that one will reflect to the CCPs and critical limit. Full Gilbert, okay, it's actually related to each other. A preventive strategy. Why preventive strategy? Because for each of the hazard that we put inside our hazard plan, they need to have a corrective action here, right? So of course, how to come up with the corrective action? You need to monitor lah kan, cari defect, find the defect. That's why on the QC we actually looking for a defect. So QC is actually part of a hazard. QA documentation, fill up the form, fill up the template. That one will be under QA. So report that combine QC and QA, you have QMS. The QMS is hazard, okay, quality management system. So kita actually help each other, right? So we have the CCP, the critical limit. So critical limit, the parameters. Okay, we already know the hazard here, and then we come out with the. That's why you have pressurization with the temperature 72 degrees C or 15 seconds, for example. Okay, so that is the limit. Okay, and then monitoring how to actually, when we found the defect inside our product. So what should we do? Should we stop the production or just continue the process or quality the product or what else? Okay. So that one based on monitoring, it will reflect to the corrective action. Okay. So number 2, when you talk about preventive strategy, it's more towards a preventive measure that reflect towards the CCP, the critical limit and monitoring process. Okay. So that's why when it comes to develop a master plan is your hazard plan. And that anticipate possible food safety hazard and identify the point in the production. Okay, so we have this one, CCPs, the limit and so on. And number 3, the concept is don't have this thing. Okay, monitoring, verification, and validation. So monitoring will just monitor the process. Okay, checking the temperature, checking the time. Alright. Verify and validate. So what does it mean by verify and validate? So you verify. Siapa verify? Verify and validate. It's like when you fill up the form, any form, AQL form, you verify. The operator will verify. Validate is the QC. Will sign and check whether it's correct or not. Okay. So this one will have number 4, number 6 and 7. Okay, this one. Because we already have the assignment and assignment part, we have the practical 1 plus practical 2. This one you will have, later on we'll look at the table back. Okay, and then this is number 1. So we actually have 3 tasks under assignment. A guided assignment. Okay, guided, kalau guide dia belasah semua benda kan. So guide means that what should we do one by one, right? This is your for practical 1 and 2 you already learned under lab. Okay. That one is task. It's not task 1 lah. It's actually belongs to task 2. So task 1 is more towards that we want to come up with the team. Okay. So that's why each group need to have like the four students. Alright. So this is actually the first 5 steps. Remember, first 5 steps. Ini saya tak nombor 5. Dalam ayat tu ada nombor 5. Dalam ayat tu pun 5 juga kan. So you have the first 5 steps. Now, first 5 steps for the development of hazard. Number 1, you need to assemble a team. So let's say you have 4 members. You need to assign who is the QC, who is the production, who is the logistic, whatever, right? So usually, if we want to work for hazard plan, we need to have a committee, a member. So member can be between 5 to 7 people who actually have like knowledge or expertise in that particular area. It's like we need to have the engineers, right? Engineer for what? Are you technician? Engineer for? Why is it important for hazard? Maintenance and calibration. Okay, maintenance and calibration. Why we need to have production people? To what? To verify the process, flow diagram. Why we need to have a QC/QA? Because they need to what? Verify the form, the step, the procedures. Okay, what else? Why we need to have like logistic people? Logistic for what? Logistic. Distribution. Okay, to distribute from factory, distribute to the retailers. Product record under logistic. Plus with the QC. Okay. What else? Why you need sanitation? EHS officer. Any accidents that happen, any environmental or health issue, GHP is actually under EHS. Okay, OSHA. Right? So we have engineers, production people, sanitation, EHS people, quality assurance, and also food microbe. So food microbe sometimes they will be under QC. Okay. So when we have this, we come up with the what? With the okay. Right. And okay. So this one is actually the tables that you need to fill up. Like whenever you have like the 4 members for your assignment, kan? Ini fill up. Lepas tu, what you need to do is for each of the members, you need to identify the job responsibility and hazard function. Okay, you can put like what engineers, the QC, QA, and so on. But you need to fill up all the details. Okay, ni nak reka lah, walaupun you tak ada experience, kan. Contohnya boleh 20 tahun experience ke, okay. Hazard responsibility must equal with the QC. Example here, job responsibility yang template kan dia bagi dekat your QC. So food safety or food hygiene training if you have any. Kalau tak ada tinggal kosong. Ada dekat lah. So as it can be as simple as apa tu? Latihan mengenali makanan, latihan GMP, GHP, cleaning, hazard and so on. So this one is more towards like filling up the documentation, okay? By specifically mention the responsibility of each member. Okay. And then this is more towards like the introduction of the hazard plan, the assignment lah. Selalu kalau you buat assignment dia itu kan 2 page ke 3 page kan. Kalau semua check AI bagai kan. So siapa yang buat? You ke AI yang buat? Okay. So this one is actually the first page. Okay. It's like the cover, front cover for apa nama hazard plan. So what you need to do is you can come up with your own company name, ABC, sendiri. It depends on you, right? Address, phone number, product group, hazard ID. So hazard ID is like you bring like the one number to represent your product. It's like simple one. Bread kan, contoh. You produce like a bread with filling, with strawberry filling. So it's like bread with strawberry filling, BS1 number 8, or probably put like the company name ABC/BS1 as a product ID. Because if let's say you have 10 product, you need to have like 10 product ID. Okay. Types of product, what kinds of product you produce? Supplement, dairy product, cereal, beverage drink, okay. Purpose of not producing the product, purpose of having this hazard in a company. Kenapa nak ada hazard? Kenapa nak ada hazard, right? As the requirement, or just want to enhance the customer satisfaction and so on. Scope, food safety objectives, and if let's say you have any reference related to the hazard plan that you want to produce. So reference, sometimes food act and regulation can be one of the reference. Definition, we talk about definition under GMP, right? It's like, what does it mean by acid, what does it mean by pH? So maybe you can put like the sum of the definition, CCP, plots, contact surfaces, those relate with the products. Okay, filling, what does it mean by filling? Extrusion, if you have the extrusion process in the process. But don't simply put like mixing or baking, benda-benda yang simple-simple tu tak payahlah. Melainkan kalau you rasa orang luar tak tahu, so you want to educate, or example, this one will be passed to external auditor. Okay, so we need to love this one. And then this one is number 2 and number 3. Okay, is more towards that we want to describe the foods and application. So this is actually you've done in the practical one, okay, practical one. So we actually come up with ingredients, what kind of ingredients involved, the packaging, the claims, expiry date, manufacturing date, those that stated on the package. Okay, but some probably is new to you, like start and finish point. What does it mean by start and finish point? Like process from receiving the raw material up until distribution, or the raw material supplier evaluation. Just list out the ingredient involved, process, mixing, baking, and so on. Okay, equipment use is like if you use like if you conduct for Packaging, labeling instruction, intended shelf life, legal requirements and standard. This is actually already covered under practical one. Okay. And number 3 is where you need to identify who is actually the customer of the product. So the customer, if let's say you produce like a chocolate, what is the target customer or target group? Adult, kids, or like powdered milk. So powdered milk for who? Baby. Sometimes powdered milk for those who actually have health issue, kan? So you can just identify who is your target consumer or the target group. So the form is actually look like this. Number 1 up until number 10. So the table that we have under practical 1 is slightly different because that one is more to collecting spec. So it's actually similar collecting the spec, but we want to do it in this kind of form. Okay? Because you have like the product name, process symbol, blah 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 blah. Number 3 is the intended consumer. So this is point number 3 just now. The rest is point number 2. Okay. Right. This one, number 4, is where you need to develop like a flow diagram. So flow diagram, the functions of flow diagram. This one is complex that I'll just show you like this. Your assignment is look like this. Okay, you need to have like the input and also output. But for your assignment, please identify 3 potential products that you want to do. Okay, so I will choose and then I will avoid the overlapping. Right. So simple flow diagram, simple bukan simple sangat. So looks simple, but it's not really simple. Tahu tak? I tak nak flow diagram yang macam tu, dia macam gula kan? Saya nak dia input, process from top to the bottom one, and then you have output. So I don't want to have like they start from here, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then you letakkan you take input and so on. It must be in this template. Okay? Input, if let's say you have 30 ingredients, not all 30 ingredients will be at process number 1. Right? So you need to number them. Like process receiving, the common one. The first one is start with the receiving. Right? Lepas tu, example weighing. Right? Number them. Number 1, number 2, number 3, up until number 50. Distribution. But I'm sure you don't have 50 steps. Right? So you need to have like receiving, weighing, and so on. Right? Number them. So how many process you need to have? How many? 5. Macam mana nak come out with the CCP? CCP pun kena 4. So proses kena berapa? Janganlah ambil mineral water. Siapa ambil mineral water memang kena slash. Macam tu. Kan? Okey lah, letak mineral sparkling. Oh, letak sparkling pun kena slash juga. Okay, sparkling tu just inject CO2 je nama satu proses. Right. So you need to have look at the product, potential products. But the form will be like this. Okay. I wrap up. This one is actually number 4. You develop your flow diagram. If you refer to the slide before, the important things about the flow diagram is to see the overall picture of the production. So what happens actually starting from the receiving process up until distribution. Okay, and then from there we can actually place how your ingredient transform or convert into a different kinds of product or different kinds of shape. And then you have your output is as your, it's not like your finished product. Your one of it is a finished product. But besides, let's say you want to produce orange juice, right? Orange juice, you have oranges, and the output is what? Beside finished product, apa dia ni? Beside finished product or produce tu, apa yang dia punya output? Kulit limau, peel kan, the waste, tak benda-benda tu, okay? That one is considered as output. From packaging material is your input, okay? Packaging material, all the plastic, glass containers, semua tu is the input. Alright? Remember your products, you need to have a raw material plus packaging material to get the finished product. Right? So from there we can know this one, the movement of the food products, waiting or holding period. If let's say you have any rework, so what should you do? Okay, and then monitoring or checkpoint. This one is your CCP. For each of the process, not for each of the process. For the flow diagram just now, you need to identify the CCP. So from there you can actually see how many CCP you have in one particular process, okay? One particular production line. And the last one is number 5 is the verification. How to verify flow diagram. So just now we have like how many members? 4 members, right? So at the bottom of this flow diagram, okay, we have the quality assurance, we have the engineers, we have the apa lagi tadi? Production people, we have the logistic manager, for example. So everyone need to sign. Okay. So dalam yang punya flow diagram dekat bawah tu kena ada signature to verify whether this flow diagram is correct or not. Okay. Ini pun ada masalah. Alright. So for the this one, we have 3 ones. Semua dah siap reko-reko. Dah tak datang dalam kelas. Tak siap reko ke baru tengah buat produk ni?
Tipu je.
Lagi
macam sopir yang tak sadar kat bawah. Kenapa sedar?
okay, so this one assignment, right? Yang ni I tulis dulu. For today we start our assignment for lesson. So what you need to do is you need to come up with the hazard. I think you already have. Kan? Ada. Your product description, come up with the 3 potential product. Bukanlah kita nak buat 3, kita pilih 1 aja nanti. And then flow diagram. So you need to identify first the 3 potential product, and then once agree, then you come up with the flow diagram. Okay. And here Alright. To remind back, just now we already discussed. Okay, to remind the principle of hazard, we actually have 7. So 7 plus 5 equal to 7 plus 5 equal to 12. So 12 is 12 things that you need to have under record keeping. Kat sini ada 12 benda. Alright, cik Nan 5 tambah 7. Alright, so if we go one by one, I think you already know about this one. Probably if you don't remember, can memorize now. So number 1 is conduct hazard analysis. Okay, dalam 652 ada belajar ke hazard? You buat apa lah? Risk management. For number 1 aja, conducting hazard analysis. Number 1 aku sudah qualification. Product check? Ada juga. Which actually that one is covered under hazard. Toxic is under risk assessment. Our common practice is actually for hazard plan covered under quality because it's under quality. Okay, so for food toxicology is more towards risk assessment, conducting the hazard analysis. The rest is actually covered under hazard. So kalau macam ni nampak macam dia overlap pula. Kan? So alright, so conduct hazard ni tak ada lah. Ni tak ada kan? I still remember. Product description? This is actually covered under 612 and 642 lah. So you detail macam lain product description. Yang lain tu sama. Yang lain. Ha? Actually the hazard plan is covered under 6. Okay, and then we have number 2. So I think because she's actually under halal migran, so she come out with the hazard. But understood that before this, that one is covered under 6 and 6. Okay. So identify the CCPs. Number 2, number 3 is more towards the critical limit. Okay. And we have a monitoring. So you have the tablet. You have the tablet. It's similar with this one. Ada. Macam ni. Yes. Tengok sama sana. This one. The last one. This one. I dah buat assignment ni dah kelar. Apa dia? I think under toxicology you should cover risk assessment. Only covers for step number 1. The rest under hazard plan. Sebab nama dia pun hazard. So you belajar hazard ke dekat toxicology? Tak ada kan? Alright, so number 5 is establish a corrective action, and
Dah bila keluar kemeja gampang yang baru tu? Ada semua. Macam mana? Ya, jadi
Jalan.